good evening to you, and it's a warm welcome to the news live on Channel I. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
And I'm Dhamike Kanaya. Coming up are your top stories. Our lead story this evening. President Maithripala Sirisena reiterates that no room will be allowed for a foreign judiciary, judge or any organisation to meddle in the internal affairs of the country. The President made these remarks attending the 70th Higher Ordination Ceremony of Sri Lanka Ramanya Mahanikaya today. The meritorious ceremony was conducted centering on the Gorakapula Vidyaraja Piruven Vihara in Panadura this afternoon. The Upasampada ceremony will be held at the Panadura Sima Malaka till the 16th of this month. The President handed over certificates to the ordained monks and honorary titles to a group of laymen. Venerable Singh Thera of China presented a souvenir to the President at the occasion. The President handed over the Vijinipatha to be used in the ordination ceremony of the Mahanayaka of the Ramanya Nikaya, Most Venerable Napane Pemasiri Thera. The Mahanayaka Thera has presented a commemorative volume of the Ramanya Vangsha to the President. The President, addressing the ceremony, pledged to the Mahasangha that the rightful place of Buddhism in the Constitution will be further strengthened.
परंपरावක දුර්මකම් කියමින් වසර 50කට වැඩි කාලයක් වන්නේ ඒකී ඒ ඓතිහාසික කාර්යභාරය සිදු කරන මොහොතේදී සීමා මාලකයේ ලැබුවේ මෙලඟට ශ්‍රී ලංකා රාමඤ්ඤ ඉරණෙමින්නේ ඔබතුමාන්ගේ ජීවිත කාලයේ ජන කාර්යයක් වෙනුවෙන් Tamanගේ ජීවිතය කැප කළා විවිධ
President Maithripala Sirisena said that they are aware of the noble contributions rendered by the Mahasangha to nurture Buddhism throughout the history. The President reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthen Buddhism on the national and international levels. He added that the government appreciates the special direction of the Mahasangha in safeguarding the national security, state security, independence and sovereignty. Many charges were launched against Sri Lanka on the international scale in recent times. However, the present government has been able to weaken the intensity of such charges. The President added that the government will always act fearlessly to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. He added that many opinions have been expressed regarding the setting up of military tribunals seeking the services of judges. The President has reiterated that as long as he remains in power, he will not allow any foreign judiciary, a foreign judge, or any foreign organisation to meddle in the internal affairs of the country.
යුදාධිකරණ පිහිටවන්න නොයෙකුත් අදහස් ප්‍රකාශ වෙනවා. නමුත් මම මේ රටේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා වශයෙන් කටයුතු කරන තෙක් කිසිදු විදේශීය අධිකරණයකට හෝ විනිශ්චයකාරවරයෙකුට හෝ කිසියම්ම විදේශීය සංවිධානයකට මේ රටේ අභ්‍යන්තරයේ පරිපාලනය සහ අධිකරණයට බලපෑම් කිරීමෙන් ඇඟිලි ගසන්නට ඒ සඳහා ක්‍රියාකාරී වෙන්නට කිසි විටකත් මම ඉඩ නොතබන බව ඔබ වහන්සේලා ඉදිරියේ මා ගෞරවපූර්වකව මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට ඕනේ.
Mahasangha, including Anunayaka of the Ramanya Nikaya, Venerable Doranagoda Vijitasena Thera, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Speaker Kadu Jayasuriya, ministers, MPs and foreign dignitaries were also present.
In the meantime, Minister Rishad Badruddin says that a list of essential items for which a VAT is not imposed will be gazetted shortly. He said in Parliament today that VAT on several essential consumer items will be withdrawn within the next few days. The amended draft bill on value-added tax was presented to Parliament today.
The present pricing formula, which is implemented by the Consumer Affairs Authority, must be republished and proper monitoring mechanism should be introduced district-wise. My ministry will take immediate action to re-gazette the essential items by Consumer Affairs Authority and publish the maximum price also in later consultation with the Cost of Living Committee Chairman, Mr. Malik, and the member, Honorable Ravi, Finance Minister. We will also strengthen the market riding mechanism. Hereafter, action will be taken to telecast the prices of essential items frequently through print and electronic media also. And also decided by the Cabinet this week, as well as at the special cost of living committee chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister last week, The government has decided to subsidize essential food items. We met our Honorable Malik and the Honorable Ravi. We discussed. We are going to sit coming Tuesday after the cabinet, and we will finalize the maximum retail price.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi arrived in the island today on a 3-day official visit. The official ceremony to welcome the Chinese minister was held at the Foreign Ministry this evening. He was received by Minister Mangala Samaravira. Thereafter, the Chinese Foreign Minister made a note in the book for special guests. Minister Wang Yi said after bilateral talks that his country extends fullest support to the program of the present government to develop Sri Lanka. He further said that China is ready to contribute to many development projects in Sri Lanka. Minister Mangala Samaravira said Sri Lanka values the cooperation extended by China.
It has been a great honor and a great privilege to welcome to Sri Lanka the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the people. I extended Sri Lanka's appreciation for the assistance given by China for several infrastructure and other mega projects in Sri Lanka. This is consistent with the strategic cooperation partnership between our two countries. Sri Lanka deeply values the long-standing friendship and cooperation with China dated back from ancient times. Discussions were also held regarding the Belt and Road Initiative put forward by China. Sri Lanka reiterated its participation in this initiative as it is in line with the government's initiative to make Sri Lanka the hub of the Indian Ocean trade, a position it occupied in the ancient past. We discussed the 21st century maritime Silk Road for greater economic cooperation, which is viewed as a road of friendship, economic cooperation, social and cultural exchange and connectivity.
In the meantime, the government requests the general public to send written submissions on the establishment of mechanisms to advance truth, justice and reconciliation in Sri Lanka. Proposals on judicial mechanisms with a special council are appreciated. The government also seeks the views of the general public on the Truth, Justice, Reconciliation and Non-Recurrence Commission and Offices of Reparations and the Offices of Missing Persons. The general public are requested to send their submissions to the Consultation Task Force on Reconciliation Mechanisms through email and telephone before the 15th of this month.
Deputy Minister Eran Wickramaratne says socio-political structure of the country should be changed in order to bring financial justice for the common man. He was addressing a workshop in Colombo today to make aware the local government representatives on private partnership program of the government.
A hugely loss-making state-owned enterprise contracts just 24 months ago to take 16 new aircrafts. A decision is being taken. You don't have to be an economist, you don't have to be an accountant, you don't have to be some kind of a financial expert to know that common sense will tell you that those decisions cannot be financially prudent decisions. These decisions reek with corruption. PPPs won't completely solve these issues of corruption, but PPPs become necessary. The airline is on the brink of bankruptcy, and that's why our government has taken a decision, and we have transparently advertised internationally and locally that we are looking for management and we are looking for new investment. I fly, you fly, but the people on the ground who never fly pay for your air ticket and my air ticket when they go to a shop to purchase something and they are taxed for it, because that tax money goes to pay the accumulated debt of 140 billion rupees just for one institution of the Sri Lankan government. I think it's a grave injustice. This is a crime. I was shocked to look at the joint opposition appointing a shadow cabinet yesterday. 3 family members of the Rajapaksa family holding 3 top positions in the shadow cabinet, including a young man who has absolutely little training or experience in foreign affairs, trying to even represent foreign affairs in the opposition of the country. This is an insult that is done to the professionals of this country. We have to change this order. We have to change the socio-political structure of this country. Nobody is going to change it for us unless we understand it and we take our position within that. That's why, as I was looking at PPPs, there are failures in PPPs and there are successes in PPPs. We don't want all risks to the public sector and all profits to the private sector in any PPP. We want genuine PPPs where the public sector or the public of this country benefit.
The workshop was organised by the Finance Commission. Several eminent scholars, including Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, was present at the occasion.
Prime Minister of Vietnam, Nguyen Xuan, affirming the strong ties and traditional cooperation with Sri Lanka for the last 45 years, has expressed hope that the bilateral trade with Sri Lanka could be increased. Receiving Sri Lanka's ambassador to Hanoi, Saranya Hasati Urgadavata Dissanayaka yesterday, Prime Minister Phuc has said that the two countries should intensify economic cooperation as bilateral trade reached just $200 million in 2015. The Sri Lankan envoy, echoing the Prime Minister Phuc's opinion of the good relations between the two countries, promised to accelerate the signing of cooperative agreements in trade, investment and tourism with Vietnam, and pledged her best effort to further foster the two nations' relations, especially in trade. Prime Minister Phuc, during his meeting with Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena at the G7 summit in Nagoya, Japan in May, expressed his country's interest to enhance bilateral relations in many fields, including agriculture, industry, trade and investment. He pointed out that while the annual value of bilateral trade has risen to $200 million, there are plenty of opportunities for further expansion. In the meantime, a complaint was lodged at the Police Financial Crime Investigation Division requesting to conduct investigation into the 2 ships purchased by the Sri Lanka Shipping Corporation in 2014. The complaint was made by parliamentarian Nalin Bandara. It has been charged that 2 ships were sold, actually not new craft but old vessels which were refurbished. Parliamentarian Nalin Bandara said that the 2 ships with an actual purchasing price of 40 million rupees were purchased for a sum of 70 million rupees. He added that means a fraud of $30 million had taken place. Only 1 ship had arrived. A deputy minister and a shipping corporation chairman were reported to have gone abroad to bring the other ship. The parliamentarian added that there is a strong suspicion that these 2 ships were 20 years old and were repaired in time for the sale.
Now let's have a quick look around Asia with Asia in a Minute. Medical marijuana is high on the list of proposals for actress and politician Taya Takagi and her party as she gears up to run in Japan's upper house election. A landslide has killed 35 people, cut off roads, electricity and telecommunications in a remote village county in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Super typhoon Nipatak swept through Taiwan today, causing flooded farmland and streets across the mountainous but sparsely populated east coast where the typhoon made landfall. Asian shares were steady in today's trade as investors brace for US jobs data to see if the world's #1 economy is resilient enough to weather the fallout from the Brexit vote. The US and South Korea have agreed to deploy a controversial missile defense system in the wake of intensifying threats from North Korea. Welcome back. You're watching Rupavahini Channel English News, and we continue with more local stories. Now, the Asian Development Bank says it is ready to extend cooperation continuously for Sri Lanka's development projects. The bank points out that it has taken this decision after observing how the country has utilized the aid provided in an appropriate manner. A group of representatives of the ADB, including its vice chairman, Wenkai Zhang, has given this assurance when they met President Maithripala Sirisena at the president's house today. The president said that the government's aim is to invest the aid for development without leaving any room for fraud and irregularities. He also said that priority is being given for projects in the fields of education, provision of drinking water facilities, infrastructure and agriculture. The president added that the government is committed to bringing back the right for development for the people in the north who were victimized by the conflict for 3 decades. Sri Lanka and the ADB has been maintaining mutual relations for the past 50 years. The bank has provided aid amounting to $7.9 billion during this period.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that the present government is bound by its state policy to strengthen Ayurveda and indigenous medical system. The president made these remarks at the opening of the Ayurveda Expo 2016 medical exhibition at the BMICH in Colombo today. The exhibition, organized by the Sri Lanka National Chamber of Commerce for the 6th occasion, will be conducted till the 10th of this month. President Maithripala Sirisena said that the government is committed to extend the necessary resources for development of the indigenous medical system. He further said that though the Western medicine has advanced with the new technology, the general public is experiencing several problems. These include high prices and standards of medicine. The president added that there is a higher scope to develop Ayurveda medicine according to international standards.
ඒ තුල අපේ රට වශයෙන් වගේම ජාත්‍යන්තර වශයෙන් මේ ආයුර්වේදය දියුණු කිරීමේ වැදගත්කම අපි සෑම කෙනෙක්ම දන්නවා. ඒ නිසා අපි වර්තමාන රජයේ රාජ්‍ය ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තුල ආයුර්වේදය දේශීය වෛද්‍ය විද්‍යාව විදකම් ප්‍රතිකාර අංශ ශක්තිමත් කිරීම සඳහා වඩා ප්‍රමුඛත්වයක් දීලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ සියලු අංශ ශක්තිමත් කරමින් ආයුර්වේදයේ දේශීය වෛද්‍ය විද්‍යාව වඩා වර්ධනය කිරීමට ප්‍රගුණ කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය සම්පත් ලබා දීමට අපි රජයක් විදිහට කටයුතු කරනවා.
The president has inspected the exhibition stalls, and ministers Dr. Rajitha Senaratne and Daya Gamage were also present. The Ministry of Agriculture has taken measures to commence 15,000 fruit villages within the next 3 years. 2,000 such villages are expected to be set up during this year under the National Fruit Production Program. The first of such villages was declared open in Kananvilla, Horana today. Director General of Agriculture Dr. Rohan Vijayakund said that Sri Lanka has a prominent place among Asian countries with the best fruit diversity. He added that in Sri Lanka around 200 varieties of fruits are seen. He further said that it is essential to popularize consumption of fruits, not poison. In order to propagate this concept, the Fruit Research Promotion Institute annually conducts 200-gram fruit exhibition in Kananvilla. The farm in Kananvilla extends in an area of more than 8 hectares. Research is also being conducted at this occasion on new methods of fruit plant grafting and plant nurseries.
Residents in Salawa, Koskama were engaged in a protest today demanding solutions to their problems within 2 days. Owners of houses damaged by the Salawa army camp explosion were engaged in the protests. As a result, the part of the high-level road from Koskama to Kaluagala was closed for around 2 hours. The protest was organized based on several demands. They have pointed out they are unable to accept the compensation assessment reports on damages.
Chairman of the Philippines Human Rights Commission, Chito Gaskin, has said late Prime Minister Dudley Senanaike was not only a leader for Sri Lanka, but also a true leader for the entire Asian region. He made these comments while delivering the 6th Dudley Senanaike Memorial Lecture in Colombo yesterday. Dudley Senanaike was the 2nd Prime Minister of Ceylon and went on to become Prime Minister 2 more times. He was the son of Right Honourable D.S. Senanaike, the 1st Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The memorial lecture was organised by the Dudley Senanaike Foundation.
Lord John Alderdice, when he spoke in this very forum 8 years ago, described Senanaika as an outstanding and genuine liberal, I quote. Not only a political and economic liberal, but also a man who inspired genuine public affection and support. Sri Lanka would certainly have benefited from his broad and genuine sympathies for all the people of this beautiful island, had his vision of all sections living together in harmony been achieved. Sri Lanka would have been saved from the misery and heartaches it has experienced since then. Inspired by the pioneering work of the great man we honor today, may in the same vein sustain a movement of citizens here who will overcome the real challenges ahead in your country in order to establish Sri Lanka as a flagship for freedom in South Asia. May freedom reign in our lands and spread across Asia and the world.
I don't think we can see another leader of that caliber who was above board, who was really among the elite of this country. He had every characteristic of a leader. He was born in a great family, and with all that simplicity was above his entire character.
The peace that we all enjoy today will only be temporary unless and until a proper reconciliation is achieved among all communities. We have to break down the wall of suspicions and build up trust among our communities. It is easier said than done, as the wounds of war run deep, and time alone cannot heal such wounds. This government, under the leadership of President Sirisena and Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, is steadfast in bringing a lasting solution through a proper reconciliation process, a process that will unite and uphold civil liberties of every citizen of this country. The path to reconciliation is an arduous one, a path we have to walk through with open hearts and open minds. This country cannot and must not be divided among ethnic lines. Instead, we must all unite under one flag, with one common identity, a Sri Lankan identity. This is the vision of our first Prime Minister, the father of our nation, Right Honourable D.S. Sennaika. A vision that was carried forward by his son, Dudley Sennaika, when he assumed duties as Premier after his father's demise. Prime Minister Dudley Sennaika was not only a liberal, but also a proponent of good governance. Good governance is the platform the present government campaigned on and won the confidence of the people. However, good governance has proved difficult to instill on a governing system that has been corrupted for the last 15 to 20 years.
The Ministry of Mahaweli Development and Environment says that maximum relief has been provided to the people who lost their land due to Moragahakanda Kaluganga Development Project. Secretary of the Ministry, Udaya R. Senivaratna, said at a media briefing in Colombo today that certain groups are attempting to sabotage the program by propagating rumours. Moragahakanda Kaluganga Development Project is another massive project of the Mahaweli Development Program. The project will enable to irrigate cultivations in the North Central Province and to provide drinking water to people in Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Trincomalee and Matale districts. 25 megawatts of electricity is also expected to be added to the national grid. The Moragahakanda scheme is scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. Secretary of the Ministry of Mahaweli Development and Environment, Udaya R. Senivaratna, said that the families residing in the scheme are being identified as the beneficiaries of the project. He added that according to the instructions of the President, all privileges have been granted to the deserving families. The residents have the freedom to move to new settlements of their choice. They could also remain within the project by receiving the land provided by the government. Those who are willing to move to Matale district will be given alternate land in the district. The Secretary added that it has been decided to allocate 2,239 million rupees to provide the necessary relief to the people in the area.
The All Shares Price Index closed at 6,366.31 points, increased by 55.62 points, and the S&P SL 20 Index closed at 3,363.27 points, also increased by 37.04 points at the end of trading the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Today's turnover was over 1,015 million rupees. And here's a summary of market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange today.
Now it's time to have a look at news from around the world, and we start in the US. 5 Dallas police officers have been killed and 6 wounded by gunmen during protests against the shooting of black men by police in the USA. 3 people are in custody, and 1 man who was in a standoff with the police shot himself dead. Gunfire broke out yesterday as demonstrators marched through the city. The protests came after this week's deaths of Philando Castile in Minnesota and Alton Sterling in Louisiana. The Dallas attack marks the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement officers since the 9/11 attacks in 2001. President Barack Obama, who is visiting Poland, said it was a vicious, calculated and despicable attack on law enforcement. Dallas Police Chief David Brown said the suspects were all believed to have been working together using rifles to carry out attacks while the protest rally was drawing to a close. 2 snipers had fired from elevated positions, shooting some officers in the back. U.S. media said the man is now dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and the standoff is over, although the police is yet to confirm this. Police are continuing to sweep the downtown area. No explosives have been found so far.
We now move on to some international news from around the world in brief. Interior Minister Theresa May and Eurosceptic rival Andrea Leadsom emerged yesterday as the 2 candidates who will battle to become Britain's next Prime Minister and lead the country out of the European Union. May won 199 votes and Leadsom 84 in a second ballot to lawmakers of the governing Conservative Party. Justice Secretary Michael Gove took just 46 votes and was eliminated from the race. Suicide bombers and gunmen have killed at least 35 people at the Shia shrine in Iraq. So-called Islamic State said it carried out the attack.
Time for sports. Now, high jump national champion Manjula Kumara failed to qualify for the Olympic Games today. He failed to qualify for the Olympic Games at the 94th National Athletic Championship, which commenced at the Diegama Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium today. Manjula Kumara won the gold medal by jumping a height of 2.24 meters in the men's high jump. However, he failed to record the Olympic qualifying height of 2.29 meters. Colombo City League team won the Champions Trophy of the Sri Lanka-Korea Cooperation Under-19 League Soccer Tournament at the CRNFC grounds in Colombo today. The team beat the Negombo Soccer League by 5-0 in the final.
And before we wind up, a quick look at the weather. The department says mainly fair weather will prevail over most parts of the island. However, large showers are likely at several places in the western, Sabaragamu, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. Strong winds at times can be expected over the country, particularly in the central hills in the northern half of the island. This is the weather forecast for the next 36 hours.
And that's all from us at Rupavahini Channel English News. Thanks for your company.
Good night.